Hi everybody, welcome back to our channel. Based on the title of this video, you can kind of assume what we're going to be talking about today. I wanted to create this video because knowing that there's other people that are watching and might be going through something that I went through, if I'm kind of able to share my personal story with you and make a difference and make things a little bit easier for you, then I'm all for it. It was very difficult to come out because of church, because I was very involved in church for a really long time, up until I was like maybe 17. So that played a huge factor in my coming out process. I'm Latino, so that doesn't really help either sometimes. And it was difficult to kind of get to that place just because, like I've said in other videos, or like I said in the very beginning, there's always a lot of expectation, and people have your life kind of drawn out for you, I guess. And the thing is, there's like a huge age gap between me and my older siblings, so I felt like the expectation was very like high. I had a really close friend that I knew for a long time, and I had dated girls, he had dated girls. Basically, we were very close. Like we spent a lot of time together. I knew a lot of his close friends. I knew his parents. Like one night, things kind of took a left, I guess you could say. And that's kind of, I guess, the beginning of my coming out experience. What happened? We didn't talk for a while because I was just kind of going through it. And maybe like 2 or 3 months had passed, and then we kind of got back in touch, and we tried to remain friends, but it didn't really work out that way. We kind of started dating, and like I said, with the whole church thing, I kind of felt stuck because I eventually wanted more, and I didn't want to live in secret anymore, and I wanted to like tell people, but I knew it wasn't gonna work out if, like I knew I wouldn't be able to play the role that I did in church if I wanted that relationship. So maybe for about a year, everything was very like low key. I just went about my life, and I just remember feeling really, really guilty about it because I felt like I wasn't being fully honest about who I was. And the first person I wanted to tell was my mom, because I felt like if I got her reaction before anybody else's, it would kind of help me. I'd have maybe that support system. So I felt that if I told her first, and if she reacted bad, then we would kind of just leave it there. But if she reacted good, then I can kind of step out and tell other people. So I was kind of warming her up to the idea. And during that time, MySpace was like the thing. And I remember like having a lot of friends on social media that I didn't exactly know. Kind of like, what is it called? Like a pen pal, but on social media. Is that the right term? I just remember like people would request me and I'd request them. I mean, you know what social media is these days. Like you don't know everybody on there. But I want to say that's what it was. And I remember I particularly was talking to this person, and he lived like in a different state, and we kind of like comment back and forth, like on, because back then I think you commented on profiles, not on pictures as much. Am I remembering it correctly? Okay. So The reason why I'm bringing this up is because this kind of, like, this was like the shit that hit the fan. So basically, me and him would talk, but it was friendly, like, it wasn't anything like, you're hot or anything like that. I remember, like, verbatim, he said on one of the comments, you're not being, like, fully honest about who you are. Or, like, he said it, like, more in a joking way. And the reason why I bring this up was because I had a church mentor that I was very, very close with. And one day we were at church, and this was kind of like the beginning of the end, I guess you could say. We were already having a lot of conflict because I grew up in a church that was very, I don't want to say it was always controlling, but during that time, that's kind of what it was becoming. And we were having issues because, like, church was just nonstop. Like, it was all the time. Like, I remember it would be like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sometimes even Monday. Then we have like youth meetings. So it was like pretty much like school and church. Like, it felt like that was like my life. And I just remember feeling semi-trapped because I felt like there's a whole world out there that I can't really partake in because everything's like bad or everything's like a sin. During that time, like, making the band was like a thing. So I went out with a couple church friends that I had, and we tried to keep it very on the low to go meet Danny Kane because we were like really obsessed with them. So that kind of blew up in my face because everybody found out about that. So that was kind of like issues that were kind of already arising. So after that had happened, she pulled me in the office one day and she said, I wanted to talk to you because I was on your MySpace and I saw this comment, or like I saw like these series of comments between you and a guy, and it didn't make any sense to me, like why you would be talking to this person. And then she said, and then everything just clicked, and she said that she was very disappointed because of my position at church, and she did her best to tell me that we're going to get through this and that this was something that I was going to overcome and that we could kind of keep it on the low and not tell anybody, because she says we go through these experiences in life and not everybody needs to know everything. So we were gonna convert me to be straight again, and we weren't gonna tell people, and that was the plan. But she said that I should tell my mom. So I was already warming her up to the idea because I knew I had to tell her, obviously. So I was already warming her up, but things didn't really go according to plan. She kind of beat me to it. And I was there, when she did it. Like, she pulled my mom into the same room that we had already talked. And she basically just told her. My mom was in agreement with this conversion plan. So they decided, I don't want to put too much detail into it about that particular part. Let's just say this conversion plan took place, and it got to the point where it wasn't working. I knew it wasn't gonna work. I was so past that already. I already had a boyfriend. I knew, like, I just went along with it because I guess I wanted to keep everything normal. So the only thing I did was I said, okay, I think it's working. Like, we're good. We don't need to have these like little sessions anymore. I think I don't want to say cured because it sounds crazy, but that's basically what I said. So everything just kind of went back to normal, I guess you could say. Except obviously my mom knew, and she always asked me questions. It changed our relationship so much. Like, I can't even begin to describe how much it changed everything. And I'd be lying if I said from time to time I don't wonder, like, what if those comments never took place, or what if we never had that conversation, and what if my mom never found out and I kind of just lived that life and we went and I just kind of stayed in the closet. I wondered that for a while because things got very, very intense. So time passed, and I just remember I was getting really resentful about a lot of things, and I had a lot of questions about things. Like, I don't want to get too into detail about the Bible because I don't want to like open up a can of worms, but all I want to say, and anybody can agree with me on this, is that it's based on interpretation, because it is. And the way that one person interprets something isn't the way somebody else is going to interpret it. So I'm just going to leave it at that because I don't want to make it more than it is. But I remember having a lot of questions about things, and things just weren't adding up for me. And I had so much curiosity, and I just felt like I felt so different from everybody else, and it was like really starting to kill me. Because I didn't feel happy. Like, I felt like I was putting on like a front. I remember I had transferred to a new school, and I met a friend there that we're still friends to this day, and you know who you are. And she really, really helped me come to terms with who I was. This was the first person that was just my friend that told me, like, you're not like crazy, you're not in the wrong, like, you are who you are, and like everything's gonna be fine. That friendship was kind of what I guess triggered everything. So I lost a little bit of my fear, and I didn't want to live a lie anymore, basically. So instead of just taking a huge step, I felt like I took like many steps to kind of get to where I am now. So I started telling people. After I told her, I remember I came back to my high school and I started telling my group of friends. I don't know if you guys like knew before that. You know, I just kind of decided to just live, and if people had their own opinions, I would let them think whatever they wanted. And if I didn't want to address it with certain people, then I wasn't going to. So I just kind of did what I wanted to do. I guess I started like dressing differently. I started like dyeing my hair, like just like a lot of different things that I always wanted to just do and try. I started listening to the music that I wanted to listen to. I started to just venture out. Then we broke up. So after that had happened, I kind of fell in a hole because I just felt really, really depressed, and I felt like nobody really understood me or understood what I was going through, because even though I had kind of already came out, I didn't want to tell anybody I was dating someone. Just because I had this idea that people were gonna think either I turned him out or he turned me out. So I didn't really want those ideas in people's heads, I guess. I'm not sure if this makes sense, but this is like my 17-year-old self thinking, logically or illogically or whatever. So I wasn't ready to share that part of it because I felt so judged. Like, I felt like everybody was judging me. I felt like everybody had an opinion, and there was even times where there was other, I don't want this to get messy, but there was other men at church that told me many times, like there was at least 2 or 3 that said, you know, the way that you feel, I felt that way, and it went away, or like, it's temporary, you know, you'll feel different, you know, you go through phases, and you know, I have a wife and I have kids now, and you know, don't be so set, or don't have your mind so set up and made up for you. And I mean, I don't want to talk about other people, but that wasn't the life that I wanted to live. That's why that environment was just too toxic, so I had to leave. I had to get out. So I did. It's really funny how things happen sometimes, but there was an event that occurred prior to that just made me leaving so much easier. And that's kind of why I believe in fate, is because, everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. So I struggled so much with my sexuality and coming out and, coming out and then going back in and then coming out again. So finally, when I was prepared for that point, it became easy. And even though it's still difficult with my family, because I can't, bring someone over and say, this is my boyfriend, and I don't know if that day will ever come. I'm still happy that, we're in a place where we are, because at least we can be in each other's lives. And, certain family members have told me, I don't agree with your lifestyle or your lifestyle choice. But I care for you, and I think you're a good person, and I want you in my life, and I want you to be in mine. So it's just kind of one of those things that's not really talked about, because that's, the understanding. And I hope that, someday things are different, but for now, I just accept things for what they are. And even though I didn't explain in too much detail how my coming out experience was, I mean, we could sit here for hours, and discuss, so many things that occurred. That's basically kind of the run through of how things happened. And, I'm really thankful for a lot of the people I have in my life today, because I feel like they keep me grounded and they keep me sane. And I know there's a lot of people that, go through those church situations, and it's hard and it's difficult, but, I survived it, and I'm alive. And, people can say what they want, they can, you just have to learn to accept that, people are always going to talk, and things just are what they are. You have to find your happy place and just move on with your life sometimes. I feel like I still believe God exists. But anyways, we have so many things lined up for you guys. We're excited about our channel. I think we've gotten to like the 6-month mark now since we started. And I know we have a lot of stuff in store for you guys, so definitely stay tuned, subscribe, leave us comments, and love. That's all I can really say is, keep love alive. It's so easy to hate and be miserable, but just love. That's all I can really say. Thanks for watching.